कैसे हो भाई साहब? संडे ओवर? हाँ, enjoyed your Sunday? Or exam was there? Class was there? Which class? Morning to evening? Morning to 1 o'clock. After that? After that study hour? एक काम करो, पॉइजन खरीद लो एक और खा के सो जाओ एक दिन रात में. That much of burden. चलो, anyways, no problem. So shall we start now? So I think we have already covered the 9 basic principles in the last topic. What are the 9 basic principles? Quickly revise करेंगे. IOI, confidentiality, skills and competence. Okay. What was the fourth one, everyone? Work performed by others. There what we learned that whenever the auditor is using the work performed by others, he has to be very much conscious. He has to supervise and review their work before using it. Because when you use somebody's work, at the end of the day, they are not the one who are signing the audit report. You are only signing the audit report. So you have to take the full responsibility if something will go wrong. So prevention is better than cure. So therefore, it's better to supervise and review their work before making the use of it. That is what we mean by principle number 4. What is the principle number 5, everyone? Audit planning. Audit planning में क्या होता है सर? देखो, when you become an auditor of a company, suddenly you don't start doing an audit. At that point of time, you have to first do some preliminary activity as a homework. What do you mean by preliminary activity? You have to acquire the knowledge of whose business? Client's business. You have to meet with the client. You have to know his internal environment and external. You will talk to the client. Where do you get the raw material? Where do you sell the finished products? Your suppliers are who? Your customers are who? Each and everything we have to ask in that case. So that is called what? Audit planning. But anyways, we are going to do it in detailed manner when we will reach to the next chapter. What is the next one, everyone? Audit evidence is all about which series, everyone? 500 series. In this particular series, we will understand that, sir, without getting the audit evidence in your pocket, you are not supposed to utter even a single word from your mouth. Remember one thing, client will only believe you and the users of financial statement will only believe you if you have an audit evidence in your pocket. No audit evidence, no trust and confidence on your report. And audit evidence must always be what in nature? SAAE. क्या होता है सर? SAAE, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Next point is what? Documentation. That day also I told you कि when we do the audit, even for 10 to 15 days also, there will be so many documents we will collect. Sale, purchase, TDS returns, GST returns. So we will take the sample of each and every corner of the company's organization, right? Now at that point of time, the bundle of papers will be too huge for you to handle in your pocket. So you have to put that in a particular file. That is known as audit working paper file. What do we call it as? Audit working paper file. And in another language, we call it as what? Audit documentation. In which standard we are going to learn about it? 230. And I already told you have to preserve it in your office for minimum 7 years. And if you are a practicing CMA, 10 years. Then we also have to understand their internal control system and accounting system. And finally, we have to draw what? Conclusions and reporting. अभी कोई notebook नहीं देखेगा. Just quickly tell me, what are the 2 types of reports I told you? One is modified report, one is unmodified. How many types of opinions I told you? 4. Clean, qualified, adverse, disclaimer. Clean means when do we give the clean? When we have anything wrong to say about the client or nothing wrong? Nothing. I am asking him information and explanation. He is providing me. I told him I would like to visit your factory. He took me over there. I told him, show me your evidences, show me your documents, show me your sale, purchase, GST, TDS returns. Each and everything he has shown me. So do I have any negative to say about? So I will give a which opinion? Clean opinion. Right or not? Then we have a modified report. Modified report में 3 types of report, opinion. What are the 3 types of opinion? Qualified, adverse, disclaimer. Which one is very similar to the clean opinion? Means these are huge unethical lapses or small. See, I can't give you the 100% clean opinion, but yes, I can give you the qualified one. I will still say that everything is true and fair, but subject to these small minor problems which the company is facing. What is the next one, everyone? Adverse. It is completely opposite to clean. When the clean is a positive report, adverse is a which one? Negative report. And what is the last one? Disclaimer के 3 reasons are there. What are the 3 reasons, everyone? Non-availability of sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. I told them to take me to your factory. They said that, sir, no, we can't take you to the factory. I told them, give me your cash register. They are saying that, sir, cash register is not available. Management is not allowing. Now tell me one thing. You tell me, when we did those differences between the internal, external and all those things, where do I derive my scope? Mera Lakshman Rekha of my profession is written where? Act. They can stop me or they can't stop me. They can't stop me. They can't tell me what to do, what not to do. I am a chartered accountant, I am an auditor. I derive my scope from the act. What the act will tell me to do, what the act will tell me not to do, that only I'll do and I'll not do. You are nobody to tell me. So if they try to limit your what? Scope. Or if they do not allow you to do the audit, or if they do not provide you the evidence, then in that case, what is the option available? You have to give which one? देखो सर, डिस्क्लेमर को अपन दो पार्ट में डिवाइड करते हैं. व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट वर्ड? डिस्क्लेमर मींस यू आर क्लेमिंग योर ओपिनियन और नॉट एबल टू. So that is called what? Disclaimer. Clear everyone? So up to this, all the principles were over. Aspects also we are done with. Scope also, objective, differences, each and everything we are done with. Now, and I think if I'm not wrong, threats also we are done with, right? Now, the next very important standard which we have to finish off now is known as SA 210. What is the name of the standard? Number of the standard is SA 210. What is the first standard we are done with? 200. So SA 200 mein we understood the meaning of the audit, we understood scope of the audit, we understood objectives of the audit, we also understood what? Qualities of an auditor, personal and professional. We also understood basic principles governing an audit, threats to the independence and safeguards to our independence. Are you getting the point? Now, the very, very important standard which you have to start is known as SA 210, which talks about what? Initial audit engagement terms. What is the name of the standard, everyone? Audit engagement term. देखो सर, बहुत सिंपल सा टॉपिक है. You have to understand in this way. I will ask you one question. You tell me. देखो, जब अपन मैरिज करते हैं, when we go for a marriage, am I correct or not? तो उससे पहले, मैरिज से पहले, do we go for engagement or not? Yes. Suppose there is an arranged marriage. A boy and girl are looking at each other and they thought that कि yes, we would like to marry each other. तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि today we said yes and tomorrow there will be a marriage. No, there will be time given to them, right or not? We will do an engagement, and in the engagement what will happen? The exchange of rings will take place, जिसे हम ring ceremony भी बोलते हैं. And after that 2 to 3 months or 5 months of gap, marriage date will be calculated, and according to the mantra shantra of Mr. Pandit and all, and accordingly they will tell that this is the best stars you have at this particular day and marriage date is fixed. Now, from the engagement to marriage, we have a 5-6 months of gap. Am I correct or not? The reason being why that gap is being given, because boy would like to understand the girl and the girl would like to understand a boy. Am I correct or not? So that they can understand, are they compatible with each other or not. They will meet, they will go on a date, and they will go on a movie, popcorn. Am I correct or not? सब कुछ होगा. So at that point of time, what is the purpose behind a gap between the engagement and marriage? The purpose is to make sure that ki both should understand each other and can take a call ki are they compatible with each other or not. Am I correct? Same is there in our auditing profession also. देखो, some of the students are in the very wrong misconception. जब मैं ये topic करवाता हूँ तो they say, अच्छा ये बताओ, what is the starting point of every audit? Is it the appointment letter? What is the starting point? Planning तो तब करोगे ना जब appointment letter आएगा. When you don't know that whether you are appointed or not, then why you would like to do a planning? So what is the starting point, everyone? Appointment letter. But before appointment letter also, there is one preliminary engagement activities. What is the name? Preliminary engagement activity. देखो मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ क्या होता है. Say for example, there is one company called A Limited. ये A Limited है, and A Limited called Mr. X कि sir, we want you to be our auditor. So X said that okay, I would love to be your auditor, but X is saying that कि sir, let me clarify you some things. My scope is determined from the act under which I have been appointed. Point number 1. Point number 2. My objectives are this, primary and secondary. Point number 3. my roles will be this and my responsibility will be this. Are you getting the point? क्या होता है sir? Here, the auditor would like to clarify so many things with the client first before accepting the which letter? Appointment letter. क्योंकि once you have accepted the appointment letter and once you have started doing the audit, law does not allow you sometimes to leave the audit in between. Are you getting the point? जैसे ही तुमने ऑडिट स्टार्ट कर दिया ना, तो यू आर नॉट अलाउड, यू आर प्रोहिबिटेड टू लीव और रिजाइन इन बिटवीन द कोर्स ऑफ ऑडिट. तो प्रिवेंशन इज व्हाट? बेटर देन क्योर. तो ऑडिटर क्या करा? ऑडिटर ने एक लेटर भेजा. किसको? ए लिमिटेड को. और उस लेटर को अपन क्या बोलते हैं? AEL. व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द लेटर? ऑडिट एंगेजमेंट लेटर. व्हाट इज द फुल फॉर्म? So in this letter, he is saying that thanks for the opportunity for choosing me as your statutory auditor. But before accepting your appointment as a statutory auditor, I would like to have some clarifications on following points. Point number one, my scope is something which is derived from the act or the statute under which I have been appointed. You are not allowed to interfere with my scope. Who is saying this to whom? Auditor. To the client. Point number two में उन्होंने क्या बोल रहा है कि सर ये मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव है, मेरा प्राइमरी ये है, सेकेंडरी है. डोंट एक्सपेक्ट मी टू बी अ ब्लड ऑन डॉग. It is your responsibility to detect the frauds and error. If any fraud and error will come across when I am doing an audit, I will definitely report it to the central government within how many days? 60 days. My main objective is on financial statement reporting, financial statement AFRF, financial statement accounting standard, and to ensure that financial statements are free from ROMUM. What is ROMUM? Risk of omission. Who has to clarify that? Auditor. फिर मैंने बोला सर मेरा रोल क्या है? माई रोल इज एक्सटर्नल ऑडिटर, नॉट योर इंटरनल ऑडिटर. सो डोंट ट्राई टू मेक मी बिहेव एज योर पेट. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? योर पेट इज समवन एल्स. हु इज एल्स? इंटरनल ऑडिटर. आई एम एन एक्सटर्नल ऑडिटर. आई एम एन इंडिपेंडेंट क्वालिफाइड प्रैक्टिसिंग CA. तो यू आर नॉट अलाउड टू टेल मी और गिव मी द डायरेक्शंस और समथिंग लाइक दैट. एंड पॉइंट नंबर 4 में क्या है? माई रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. आई एम नॉट रेस्पॉन्सिबल टुवर्ड्स यू. I am responsible towards users of financial statement. I am doing this audit not for you. I am doing this audit for whom? Users. You are one of the users, it's fine, but not solely for you. Like internal auditor does everything solely for whom? Management. But I am not doing only for you. I have shareholders to take care. I have suppliers, lenders, government. So many users are waiting for my audit report. So basically auditor कर क्या रहा है? Auditor is telling some terms and conditions to the whom? Client. Now, if the client is ready to accept his scope, objective, roles and responsibility, तो auditor ने क्या किया? Auditor sent 2 letters of audit engagement letter. Always remember, whenever we communicate with our client, always try to communicate in writing. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, always send 2 letters in writing. How many letters? 2 letters. 1 letter will be kept by whom? Client. And 1 letter will be stamped, signed and acknowledged and will be returned back to whom? Auditor. Why? Because it is going to act as a self-defensing tool for me in the future. In the future, if the management will say, Rohit, you didn't tell us this, sorry, we will not allow you. Will I be able to open my audit documentation file and I'll be able to show this letter or not? Sir, you only signed, you only stamped, you only acknowledged, and these were my terms and conditions. It is clearly written ki what I will do, what I will not do. So don't try to become oversmart with me. Am I correct or not? So can I say that 2 letters are always beneficial or non-beneficial? So how many letters will send? To whom? Client. I am defining my 4 things. What are the 4 things? Scope, role, responsibility and objective. Now finally I am telling to the client ki if you agree with my scope, role, responsibilities and objective and my terms and condition, then take one letter with yourself for your records and 1 letter ke upar sign, stamp and acknowledge and send it back to me. I'll put it in my audit documentation file. After that, appointment letter comes. Are you getting the point? So we are not doing anything audit till the time my audit engagement letter is not yet accepted by my client. So if I have to ask you the difference between audit engagement letter and audit appointment letter, can you tell me who sends that letter to whom? Audit engagement letter is sent by the auditor to the client, defining his terms and conditions. After that, it is acceptable by the client. What the client will send? Audit appointment letter sent by the client to the auditor. Are you getting the point or not? So remember one thing, appointment letter is the starting point or is not the starting point? Is not. What is the starting point of every audit? Audit engagement letter. That is what we are going to understand in essay 210. अभी इसका नाम पढ़ो standard का. What is the name of the standard? Initial. What do you mean by initial? Beginning. The beginning audit engagement terms. Are you getting the point? शुरू में ही अपने terms and conditions clear कर लो, so that later on you should not fight with the management and management should not fight with you. भाई मेरे को ये बताओ, engagement और marriage का यही तो फायदा है. Engagement और marriage में gap is given that so that both the parties can understand each other. After that, divorce is a good thing or bad thing? So why you would like to resign, management would not like to continue with you. That is called divorce only, na? Between whom and whom? Auditor and management. So it's better that कि you should first tell your each other terms and अच्छा ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ auditor is telling. Management also can put forward some terms and conditions. That who has to accept? Auditor. But auditor will decide कि whether the terms and conditions put up by the management are acceptable or not acceptable. अगर मेरे को acceptable नहीं है, तो is it better to continue or better to withdraw from here only? देखो सर, अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर लेने से पहले ही प्रिवेंशन कर लो. If you think that कि management terms and conditions are not applicable to you, is it better to continue or better to withdraw? But you can't withdraw when you already accepted the which letter? Appointment letter. So can I say that this standard is nothing but prevention is better than cure? So what is the name of the standard? Initial audit engagement. Now in this standard, what are the things we are going to learn? There are so many things we are going to learn. First of all, तो we'll learn the meaning of audit engagement letter. उसके बाद we'll learn कि how many copies are required to be sent in the audit engagement letter. उसके बाद third point में we will understand what is the purpose of audit engagement letter. Then in the fourth point we'll understand कि is audit engagement letter a recurring letter or not? What do you mean by recurring? Do we have to send this letter again? देखो क्या होता है, section number 139 subsection 2 you already have done rotation. One single chartered accountant sole proprietor can be appointed for the same company for the next 5 years. So if the first year I am sending this letter, do I have to send this letter again? Next year also same client, same auditor. Next to next year also same client, same auditor. So do I have to every year explain him what are my terms and conditions? So that concept will understand ki is this a recurring letter or not. And point number 5 may we understand what if management wants to alter some terms and conditions. Repeat, what is the last question? What if the management wants to alter some? अगर management ने बोला कि sir, we do not accept your terms and condition, these are our terms and condition, what the auditor shall do. Are you getting the point? All these 5 areas we have to understand in this particular standard called essay 210. So quickly bata do, what is the number? 210. What we already did? So what we are doing right now? 210. Uska naam kya tha? Overall objectives of an audit and conducting the audit as per standards on auditing. Repeat. Overall objectives of an audit, conducting the audit as per standards on auditing. So 200 taught us what? Ki whenever you do the audit, always do the audit as per standards on auditing. Now we are moving ahead to the next standard. What is the next standard? 210. It is teaching us that ki better before accepting the appointment letter, decide your what? Initial audit engagement term. And another name of this standard, you can call it as AEL also. What is AEL? Audit engagement. Clear everyone? So let us finish one by one. So this is a very small standard, but very important standard from the examination point of view. Now, first of all, let us understand the first point called what? Meaning. Okay? The files are ready everyone. So today evening, you will get all the printed notes also. At the same point of time, the 327 pages of handwritten notes also. So that will be there. Actually, this was the problem. My handwritten notes were in black background. This was the problem actually. It was earlier in the which background? Black background. You can see that the background was black. So I recently got it converted into which background now? White background. ठीक है ना? So when, if you want, you can take the printout also now for these notes. Earlier, taking the printout was very difficult. Why? Because it was having a which background? So Xerox person will simply say no to you if you want to, or he will charge a very high amount. So now I recently converted the total my black background into what? White background, and you can see that 327 pages are ready. So by evening, I'll share it to you on your Telegram channel along with the printed notes also. And at the end, I already told you, once the portion will be about to end, we will start discussing the MCQ booklet which is issued by whom? I say. तो उसमें I will tell you how to deal with the MCQ, क्योंकि what we are dealing right now is the 70 marks of portion. 30 marks of portion is completely intellectual technique based question. Right or no? How to deal with the normal MCQs and how to deal with the case scenario MCQs. That we'll do at the end once our good amount of portion will be over. Clear everyone? So shall we start now? Now, what is the first thing? पहले तो ये बताओ, audit engagement letter कौन draft करता है? So can I write the point like this? It is a letter drafted by whom? By auditor. It is a letter which is drafted by auditor. So obviously on whose letterhead? On auditor's letterhead, and forwarded to whom? Forwarded to management. Client नहीं लिखेंगे. We will write management and TCWG. Now remember, this is the another technical word. Do you remember the meaning of AFRF? Applicable Financial Reporting Framework. And I told you the second technical word called SAAE. What is that? And then I told you ROMM, risk of material. ICAI wants to look at these words in your answer. ICAI is not interested in looking at the word called fraud and error. Rather, if you use a word called risk of material misstatement, that will be more happier. ICAI is not interested in looking at Schedule 3 requirement followed or not, accounting standard followed or not. In total, you can write one word called AFRF. What is AFRF? Applicable Financial. ICAI is not only interested in using the word called evidence of proof. It wants you to write SAAE, sufficient and approved. This is the difference between the 40 mark answer sheet and 60 mark answer sheet. समझ में आ रहा है? The difference is not in the thought process of the student. The difference why someone gets 40 mark and why someone gets 60 mark is the presentation skills. Which skills, everyone? So we are here to focus on and polishing on that only. So I will keep on telling you at the regular intervals which words you have to focus, where you should better start practicing using the words. Now, it might be looking alien to you, this word right now. What is the word? TCWG का मतलब क्या होता है? TCWG का मतलब होता है those charged with governance. What is the full form? अच्छा ये बताओ, एक होती है मैनेजमेंट. आयु है ये ट्री मालूम है अपने को स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट में. व्हाट इज अपर लेवल, मिडल में मिडल एंड नीचे लोअर. ये होता है फंक्शनल लेवल. एम आई करेक्ट? दिस इज कॉल्ड बिजनेस लेवल. ये होता है कॉर्पोरेट लेवल. जो कॉर्पोरेट लेवल पीपल होते हैं ना, सीईओ, सीएफओ, केएमपीस, ऑडिट कमेटी, उनको हम लोग बोलते हैं टीसीडब्ल्यूजी. वी कॉल देम एज व्हाट? टीसीडब्ल्यूजी इन ऑडिटिंग. व्हाट इज द फुल फॉर्म? दोस चार्ज्ड विद गवर्नेंस. रिपीट अगेन. एंड मैनेजमेंट को अपन क्या बोलते हैं? बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स. तो मैनेजमेंट इज व्हाट एवरीवन? मैनेजमेंट है अपना बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स एंड ये अपनी टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? सीईओ, सीएफओ, सीईओ, केएमपीस, all that comes under TCWG. So it is a letter which is drafted by the auditor on the auditor's letterhead and forwarded to whom? Management or TCWG, defining his word. हम लोग इसमें क्या define करते हैं सर? Tell me, what are the four things I am defining? Defining my scope, objectives, roles, and responsibilities. And why we are defining it? So that both the parties can agree to each other's terms and conditions. This is called audit engagement letter. अब ये 4 points को merge करो and tell me the definition of audit engagement letter. It is a letter drafted by the auditor on the auditor's letterhead, forwarded to the management or TCWG, defining my scope, role, responsibility, objective in order to or to ensure that both the parties are agreeing to each other's terms and conditions. Just tell me one thing. If they sent you the letter with signature, stamp, and acknowledgement, what does that mean? They have said yes to my terms and condition. Now, will there be any problem in the future or no problem? No problem. Because you also have a proof. Now, point number 2. Sir, very important point now I am going to tell you. Try to understand it. Tell me one thing. When this audit engagement letter is required, I will give you it. I will make it very simplified for you. Tell me one thing. Company audit is carried out under what? Companies Act. Am I correct? और मेरे को ये बताओ, बैंक ऑडिट इज कैरिड आउट अंडर व्हाट? वेरी नाइस, बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट. तो इंश्योरेंस एक्ट तो यू ऑलरेडी नो कैरिड आउट अंडर इंश्योरेंस एक्ट और IRDA एक्ट, राइट और नॉट? अब नाउ माय क्वेश्चन इज, Companies Act told me what are my terms and conditions. Banking Regulation Act told me what are my terms and conditions. Insurance Act also told me what are my terms and conditions. If I am doing the audit of a cinema hall, now tell me, do we have Indian Cinema Halls Act in India? कौन बताएगा मेरी terms and condition? Here, it is very important for the auditor कि neither you don't know your terms and condition nor the management. ना तो सिनेमा हॉल के ओनर को पता है कि what are your terms and condition, neither you know. So it's better that you sit along with each other and determine your each other's terms and condition. So my scope, role, responsibility, it will. अच्छा ये बताओ, if I'm doing the audit of a cinema hall, will I be giving a guarantee? It will be only an opinion. So just because I'm doing a non-statutory audit doesn't mean that I will start giving a guarantee. Are you getting the point? So it is mostly required in the which audit? Tell me, it is mostly required in the which audit? If I have to ask you, where the audit engagement letter is very popular? In the statutory audits or in the non-statutory audits? क्यों? Statutory audit में क्या है? My terms and conditions are already written in Act. So directors can also read it, I can also read it. But non-statutory audit में do they know or they don't know? It means who has to tell? Auditor. So it is very popular in case of which audit? In case of non-statutory audits. It is very popular in case of non-statutory. And when do we require to exchange it? After the commencement of audit or before the commencement? Before commencement of audit. Is it clear to all of you? Yes or no? So this is called the total meaning of what? Audit engagement letter. Without looking at the board, try to tell me everything. It is a what? Letter drafted by auditor, forwarded to management or TCWG, defining my role, responsibility, scope and objectives so that both the parties can agree to each other's terms and conditions. It is very much popular in which area? Non-statutory. See, I'm not saying that it is not required to be exchanged in the statutory audit. It can be exchanged in statutory, but mostly we exchange it in case of what? Non-statutory. क्योंकि हो सकता है कि सिनेमा हॉल ओनर में think that कि I would come and will give a guarantee. He might be having a misconception. I'm paying a money to the Rohit, so Rohit will give me a what? Guarantee. But I am here to give a guarantee or express an opinion. So who has to clarify that? Auditor. So before the commencement of an audit, right? Point number 2 now. What is the point number 2? Sir, how many copies? Can anybody tell me? Both will be made by whom? 2 copies. By whom? Auditor. We will be sending it to whom? To management or TCWG. अच्छा, दोनों में से 1 copy will be kept by whom? Kept by management. Another copy will be signed, stamped, and will be reverted back to whom? Reverted back to auditor. Now tell me one thing. Is this going to be my self-defensing tool? Yes. In what? Future. In future, if he will say that, Rohit, we did agree on this terms and condition, I'll be able to show him what? This letter. That is the reason I was telling you. Evidence is least important or most important? Most important. Sir, ये जो clients होते हैं ना, they are not reliable people. Practically भी बता रहा हूं. They're not that reliable people. When the things will turn out little bit bad between the auditor and whom? Management and the client, they will always try to put the total responsibility on whose shoulder? Auditor. At that point of time, these small things you do, what like letter received and all these evidences, these are only going to protect you in the court of law. Otherwise, he will always be successful in putting the gross negligence charges against you. And let me tell you one thing, in the ICA, almost 10 to 20 committees are there which are always watching the work of chartered accountant. You people think that after getting qualified, chartered accountant is a free bird. No. There is an ethical standard board, there is a board of discipline, there is a disciplinary committee, appellate authority, peer review board, quality review board. There are so many boards in ICA who are always watching you. And if one single client will make a complaint against you, you may lose your membership number and you may lose your certificate of practice permanently also. So that is the reason basic principles governing an audit mein what we learned, integrity, objectivity, independence. Sometimes you really have to maintain them. You dare not to maintain them and if somebody, client genuinely made a complaint against you, you will be debarred from practicing. And nowadays, the biggest authority has come into the picture, that is called NFRA. ये तुमने पढ़ा होगा section number 132. What is NFRA? National. भाई एक सबसे खतरनाक बॉडी है. अभी ICA का total 70% of the powers have been snatched from the ICA and given to which body? NFRA. And sooner or later, I don't know whether you will agree with me or not, but in the next 4 to 5 years, you will come to know that ki ICA will no longer a statutory body. ICA will behave like a college where you will go write the exam and they will only maintain your registers of members and register of articles. Now, what we report to ICA nowadays, in the coming future, we will be reporting everything to whom? NFRA. NFRA is slowly taking over whom? ICA. Because ICA, what they found in the previous past, ICA has started favoring its members. ICA does not take stringent actions or the strong actions against the members who are doing the malpractices in the market. That's the reason they thought that ICA is not a appropriate body. Let's bring the new body. And who is the new body coming? NFRA. So slowly you will find that now NFRA has already taken 70 to 80% powers of the ICA and remaining 20% also in the future will be in the pocket of NFRA only. So don't be under the impression that you are a free bird after getting qualified. That's the reason ये 2 copies भेजना, 1 copy with the management, 1 acknowledged copy, all these are your rules and regulation. It's not that I'm telling you you should follow it. You have to follow it. Are you getting the point? And I say, and no, in essay 230, I think in the 3rd chapter, when we'll start audit documentation, there I will tell you and I'll show you one certificate also. That is called peer review certificate. What is the name? Yes. In the peer review certificate, ICA will strictly write that this audit firm is liable to do the audit or not. And you have to hang that in your office also. So that if the client will come, he will see that certificate, he will go. If this chartered accountant is eligible or not eligible. Good chartered accountant or a poor one. So nowadays, so many stringent new rules are coming because they are saying that as a chartered accountant, if you are the backbone of the financial economy of the India, at the same point of time, we expect you to behave ethically and intellectually. You dare to leave your qualities and ICA, NFRA are going to punish you. Did you get the point? So tell me how many copies? Both will be drafted by whom? Sent to whom? One will be kept by? One will be sent back to whom? Which is going to act as my which tool? And it is also going to fulfill my essay 230. What is 230? Audit documentation. It is also going to fulfill my requirement of essay 230. What is 230 everyone? Audit doc. So ये तो हो गया अपना meaning of audit engagement letter as well as the how many copies. What is the third topic we have to start? That is called purpose of audit engagement letter. देखो, when we talk about the purpose of audit engagement letter, it is broadly classified into 2 purposes. One is called informative purpose and one is called confirmative purpose. Can you please repeat what are the 2 words? सर इंफॉर्मेटिव पर्पस के अंदर टू पर्पसेस आर देयर, वन इज कॉल्ड मस्ट इंफॉर्मेशन एंड वन इज कॉल्ड मे इंफॉर्मेशन. सर व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय मस्ट इंफॉर्मेशन एंड मे इंफॉर्मेशन? ऐसे 210 says that कि when you are sending this letter to the management, it should contain the must information, but may information is your option. You may include, may not include. It means this is a direction to the management or this is a direction to the auditor. So what do you mean by must information? Four must things you already know. What are the four must things should be included in my scope, role, responsibility and objective? ये तो four things must है. It means this letter is completely incomplete if you do not mention these four things in your what? Letter. Now what is the next thing? The next thing is known as declarations. What are the next thing, everyone? In the declaration, there are total 3 declarations. How many? 3. So it means 4 plus 3 total how many? 7. Are your which information? Must information. अब सुनो declaration number 1. Who has to declare him that it is not a guarantee, it is an opinion? Audit. तो अपन क्या करेंगे? Declare करेंगे. Declaring that audit is not a what? Guarantee. It's an opinion. Next point. What is the second declaration? Acha, tell me one thing. Am I always going to give a positive report or negative also? But he might be having an impression that Rohit will come and he will always issue an unmodified report. So who has to declare that there is a positive as well as negative? Auditor. Declare that auditor may end up issuing which 2 reports? Modified or unmodified report. Clear everyone? And tell me one thing. Is it necessary that I only have to bring my staff or I can take the help of his staff also? अच्छा बताओ, अगर तुम सिनेमा हॉल को ऑडिट करने जाओगे and you want to check the ticket selling information, which selling? So tell me one thing, whether the ticket seller of cinema hall is going to sit with you or not. So it means it is my responsibility to declare to the management that I as an auditor may use work of your staff, may use the work of your employees, may use the work of your branch auditor, or may use the work of your which auditor? Internal auditor. And if the need arises, I may also use the work of whom? Expert. Sir, शुरू में ही clear कर दो कि I will come, I want your staff to give me the full assistance. I want your employees to be with me. I want your branch auditors to be at present. I want your internal auditor to allow me to have any access. And I want, if I want, I will not understand anything. I may use the work of which person? Expert. So these are the 3 plus above 4, 7 declarations which comes under which information, everyone? Must information. चलो quickly, जल्दी से revise करेंगे. पहले one. What is the standard number? 210. Name of the standard? Initial audit engagement term. Meaning बताओ quickly. It is a letter drafted by auditor, sent to whom? Management or TCWG. Full form. Why we are sending it? To understand each other's terms and conditions. Point number 2. How many copies? Both will be made by whom? Will be sent to whom? One will be kept by? One will be sent back to whom? Which will be acting as a which tool? And also going to serve the purpose of my essay 230. That is called audit documentation. So what are the 2 purposes it serves? Informative, confirmative. Informative के अंदर 2 types of information. Must information. Must के अंदर 7 information. Objective, scope, role, response. And 3 declaration. Declaration number 1. It is an opinion. Declaration number 2. I will not be always issuing you the unmodified report. I may end up issuing you the modified or unmodified. And what is my third declaration to clarify? I may use the work of your staff, employees, branch auditor, internal auditor and expert. So you can stop or you can't stop. You can't stop. So this is my scope which is written under Companies Act or whatever the case may be. Next point. What is the May information? Now try to understand. Under the May information, is it mandatory or optional? अच्छा ये बताओ जल्दी से और लॉजिकली मेरे को बताना. डिस्कशन ऑफ ऑडिट प्लान. व्हाट इज द वर्ड आई यूज्ड? ये मे में आएगा या मस्ट में आएगा? मैंने लिखा मे में, लेकिन क्यों आ रहा है मे में? मैं एक लॉजिक पूछता हूं तुमसे. इफ यू विल डिस्कस योर प्लान विद द ऑडिटर, सॉरी विद द क्लाइंट, व्हाट आर द एडवांटेजेस, व्हाट आर द डिसएडवांटेजेस? If you will discuss the plan with the client, there is no advantage, there is only what? Disadvantage. What is the disadvantage, sir? What is the disadvantage? Somebody went out. Okay, let him go. What is the disadvantage? Tell me, my client will become attentive or less attentive? More attentive. He will become non-alert or alert? He will come to know that what I am going to do. It means there will be no place of any which element? Surprise element. So it means if I'll tell him that on this day I will come and do this, he will make ready everything and he will show me what he wants me to see. I will not be able to see what I want to see. So tell me one thing, discussion of audit plan comes under must or may? But मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि ये may में भी क्यों आ रहा है? may का मतलब क्या हुआ? You may discuss, may not discuss. चलो may not discuss का meaning I told you कि why you should not discuss. My question is why you should discuss your plan with your client. If you will not discuss your audit plan with the client, you will not be able to complete your audit on which basis? Timely basis. अच्छा ये बताना मेरे को, which is the most busiest day of cinema hall? Friday. Friday when the movie gets released. सबसे ज्यादा busiest day वही होता है. If Friday को I will check the sales of the cinema hall, do you think that the ticket seller, the client, will be able to arrange ticket seller to sit along with me throughout the day? Or he will be end up doing his job? देखो क्लाइंट मेरे को सिंपल क्या बोला है, सर आपने फ्राइडे क्यों चूज किया? फ्राइडे को यू नो दैट कि KGF 2 इज रिलीजिंग, एडवांस बुकिंग हो रखी है, ऑल द स्टाफ विल बी हैंडलिंग द पीपल हु आर गोइंग टू कम एंड वॉच द मूवी. So should I make them watch the movie or should I get the audit done? Please change the date. We are not responsible for you. Please make it the next Sunday or the next to next Sunday. This Sunday or next Sunday is not possible. Now tell me one thing. Did it become a fruitful audit or fruitless audit? So it means sometimes you may discuss, sometimes you will. Why you should discuss? To complete your audit on time. But what to discuss, what not to discuss is purely the professional judgment of an auditor. अच्छा, कैन आई डिस्कस माई टाइमिंग्स ऑफ डूइंग द ऑडिट? अब तो मुझे बताओ, अगर मैं ये डिस्कस कर सकता हूं, सर मॉर्निंग 10 आई कम एंड इवनिंग 5 आई गो. इज देयर एनी प्रॉब्लम इन डिस्कसिंग द टाइम? बट शुड आई डिस्कस व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू बिटवीन 10 to 5? व्हाट टू डिस्कस, व्हाट नॉट टू डिस्कस, ए प्योरली डिपेंडेंट अपॉन हुज जजमेंट? ऑडिटर. अगर तुम्हें लगता है कि इफ यू विल डिस्कस सम इंपॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट एंड दैट विल रिड्यूस द इफेक्टिवनेस ऑफ योर ऑडिट, then do not discuss those things. Discuss only those things which are not affecting the effectiveness of your audit. So that is the reason discussion of plan comes in no category, must category or may category. May. You may discuss, may not. The second one also you will agree. What is the second one I am writing? Scale of fees. अच्छा ये बताओ, ये लेटर में डिस्कस करेंगे और ये टेलीफोनिक कॉन्फ्रेंस, कभी भी याद रखना ऑडिट फीस कभी भी इन राइटिंग डिस्कस नहीं होती. Audit fees is always discussed in what? Personal, face to face or telephone conference पे. Are you getting the point? Because ICAI क्या बोलता है? ICAI तो बोलता है कि डिस्कस करो, but that's the reason ICAI is also very clever. From the must category, it brought it to which category? You may discuss. तो अपन क्या करेंगे? We will or we will not? क्यों? क्योंकि fees is a personal thing. Fees is something which does not come under anything professional thing. It is something which is a personal communication. And last but not the least, third thing is called as MRL. इसे हम लोग बोलते हैं मैनेजमेंट रिप्रेजेंटेशन लेटर. व्हाट इज अ फुल फॉर्म? ये अपन पढ़ेंगे SA 580 में. वेयर वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न SA 580. अच्छा, ये लेटर को देख के तुम्हें क्या लगता है? हु इज गोइंग टू इश्यू दिस लेटर? नेम क्या है लेटर का? तो कौन इशू, अच्छा AEL का फुल फॉर्म क्या था? ऑडिट एंगेजमेंट लेटर। किसने इशू किया? किसको? ये लेटर का नाम क्या है? तो कौन इशू करेगा? किसको? लेकिन ऑलवेज नो, ओनली व्हेन द नीड अराइज। चलो मैं तुम्हें एक सिचुएशन देता हूं। मैंने मेरे क्लाइंट को बोला कि 19th में we will plan to visit your factory। 19th में we will plan to visit your factory। फैक्ट्री जाएंगे, प्लांट एंड मशीनरी चेक करेंगे, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस चेक करेंगे, बाजू में गोडाउन है, गोडाउन में स्टॉक चेक करेंगे। तो फ्राइडे वॉज अ वेरी, थर्सडे वॉज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डे बिकॉज आई वॉन्टेड टू विजिट द फैक्ट्री एंड गोडाउन। नाउ व्हाट हैपेंड, जो फर्स्ट डे बिफोर, दैट इज कॉल्ड व्हाट, 18th, फ्लड्स केम। व्हाट केम? अभी वो फैक्ट्री इज नो लॉन्गर देयर। अब तुम मुझे ये बताओ, इज इट पॉसिबल टू डू द ऑडिट और इम्पॉसिबल टू डू द ऑडिट? अब मैं क्या करूंगा? अब मेरे पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है। आई कांट गो समवेयर टू एग्जामिन माई स्टॉक or to examine the plant and machinery of the client because that area is completely under the which flood area. So do you think that it's a life threatening situation or it's a non life threatening situation? अगर मैं वहां पे जाऊंगा, I may end up drowning. Am I correct or not? So tell me one thing, should I put my life in danger to go there or should not? अब इस केस में do I have any option or no option? Or remember, when there is no option, there is last option. What is the last? MRL. What is the name? मैं सिंपल मैनेजमेंट को बोलूंगा, देखो सर, नाइदर इट इज योर फॉल्ट नॉर इट इज माई फॉल्ट। एक काम करो, एक लेटर लो, उसके ऊपर लिख के दे दो मेरे को, राइट ऑन दैट कि प्लांट एंड मशीनरीज वर हाउ मेनी इन योर फैक्ट्री एंड हाउ मच वर्थ ऑफ स्टॉक वाज लाइंग इन योर गोडाउन। आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? ही विल राइट, he will stamp, he will sign, and I will take this letter and put it in my file. In future कुछ गड़बड़ हुआ तो will I be able to defend myself? Yes. But that is always you are going to ask or only when the need arises? That's why it is a must option or may option. But client को बताना तो जरूरी है ना कि भैया अगर ऐसा ऑप्शन आया तो भैया आपको मेरे को MRL भी देना पड़ेगा। तो all these are coming under which objective everyone? Informative. अब मेरे को ये बताओ, informative is divided into two parts. What are the two information? Must में 7, may में 3, total 10. Tell me the 3 may. Discussion of plan. Second, scale of fees. Third, MRL. What is MRL? Management. Must की 7 things. Scope, role, responsibility, objective, declaration that it is not a guarantee, it is an opinion, declaration that I may end up giving you the modified or unmodified, and declaration that I may end up using the work of your staff, employees, branch auditor, internal auditor and expert. तो ये होगी अपनी must information और वो होगी अपनी may information. Now let's move to the second objective. What is the second objective? Confirmative. Confirmative का मतलब क्या होता है? It is sent to ensure that both parties shall conform to each other's word. Both parties shall conform to each other's word, terms and conditions. इसका एक ही पर्पस है, कंफर्म। अच्छा ये बताओ, इंफॉर्मेटिव वर्ड आया कहां से? इंफॉर्मेशन से। कंफर्मेटिव वर्ड कहां से आया? कंफर्मेशन से। इजी टू रिमेंबर और नॉट? इंफॉर्मेटिव मींस इंफॉर्मेशन, कंफर्मेटिव मींस कंफर्मेशन। तो हम लोग ये लेटर भेज क्यों रहे हैं? व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ सेंडिंग दिस लेटर? टू गेट अ कंफर्मेशन ऑन ईच अदर्स वर्ड, टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन। तो वो हो गया अपना कंफर्मेटिव पर्पस। दिस इज कॉल्ड व्हाट? इंफॉर्मेटिव। तो व्हाट आर द 3 टॉपिक्स वी आर डन विद? मीनिंग, नंबर ऑफ कॉपीज एंड पर्पस। अभी अपने को 4th पॉइंट करना है। 4th पॉइंट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट व्हाट? इज दिस लेटर व्हाट इन नेचर? recurring letter or not? अच्छा ये बताओ, what is your answer? Answer is yes or no? Answer is no. It is not a recurring letter. अच्छा ये बताओ, 5 years के बाद new auditor will come. For him it will be required to send again. Yes, क्योंकि his approach will be different from the earlier auditor. His scope, his objective may differ. Are you getting the point? But for me, who is working with the same client for what? 5 years. Do I have to send it again and again? बट लॉ क्या बोलता है? देर आर 7 to 8 सिचुएशंस under which you have to send this letter again. How many situation? तो इसका मतलब तुम्हें क्या लगा था, इतने से नो के लिए पूरा स्टैंडर्ड बना देंगे वो? नहीं. तो दे ask you this question for 4 marks in the examination. How they will ask you? Management audit engagement letter is a recurring letter. Comment. What is your answer? Generally, it is not a recurring letter, but under following circumstances, it will become a recurring letter. Circumstance number 1, when there is considerable change in management. अच्छा बताओ, last year I was doing the audit of PVR cinemas. Are you getting the point? So during the year what happened? PVR cinemas got taken over by Cinepolis. PVR cinemas को किसने टेक ओवर कर लिया? अब तुम मुझे बताओ, is it a one director or two directors change or the total management change? Last year sent a letter to whom? Which management? PVR. This year same management or different management? Different directors, different MD, different CEO. So do I have to send this letter again? Yes. So what is the reason number 1? अच्छा, यहां पे सबसे मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट क्या है? सबसे मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है ये. व्हाट इज द वर्ड रिटन? कंसीडरेबल. कंसीडरेबल का मतलब क्या होता है? अब सुनना, एग्जाम में ICA will trouble you by giving you this question. What they will say? Last year, Mr. Auditor sent a letter to Mr. A, who is one of the director of the company. But this year, Mr. A was replaced by Mr. X, the another director. Is this letter required to be sent again? ये मेरे को ये बताओ, क्या एक डायरेक्टर से चेंज होने के कारण our recurring letter will become recurring again or will not be? But will your answer change if the total management change? Yes. So what is the word matters here? Considerable. So when there is a which change, everyone? Considerable change in management. Second one, when there is change in line of activity, nature and size of clients business. Are you getting the point? What is the LOA stands for? Last year it was only a PVR cinema. It was which cinema? This year they have stopped cinema hall business and they went into iron and steel business. Which business? तो सर ऐसे कैसे हो गया? तुमने सबने MOA पढ़ा हुआ है ना? MOA में alteration of object clause allowed or not allowed? Allowed है ना, by passing a which resolution? Special. क्या अपनी line of activity change हो सकती है? तो last year मेरा client क्या business कर रहा था? PVR. This year उन्होंने क्या कर रहा है? Iron and steel. GST rates will change. Everything will change. क्योंकि PVR में क्या होता था? Movie watching. वहां पे entertainment tax लगता था. यहां पे क्या लगेगा? GST लगेगा. तो tell me, tax laws will change. So tell me, do I have to send this letter again and again? Yes. So what are the 3 reasons due to which I have to send the letter again in the point number 2? If there is a change in line of activity, nature of his business and size. Acha, up to last year only 8 branches of PVR were there. This year they opened 12 more. So 8 plus 12 total 20. So my scope decreased or increased? So change आया ना scope में. So I have to send this letter again. So tell me the 2 points. When there is a considerable change in the management, when there is a change in line of activity, nature and size of the whose business? Client. Third one, when there is a legal or statutory requirements changes. When there is a legal or statutory requirement changes. अच्छा ये बताओ, what is the difference between listed company and unlisted company? पहले ये बताओ, लिस्टेड कंपनी की डेफिनेशन क्या है? Whose shares are listed on a stock exchange or recognized stock exchange, and whose shares are not listed? Unlisted. तो unlisted company को which act they have to follow? Companies Act. But listed company has to follow own Company Act as well as SEBI. तो ये बताओ, last year my client was a unlisted company. This year he went forward listing. So tell me, my scope, role, responsibility will remain same or it will change? Due to what reason? Read the reason number 3. When there is a what? Legal and statutory requirement changes. What the word you have to use? Legal. देखो यहाँ पे major words कहाँ पे आ रहा है? Line of activity, nature, size. तो मेरे को अभी 3 मेजर रीजन बताओ अभी। कंसिडरेबल चेंज इन मैनेजमेंट चेंज हो गया। सेकेंड वन, लाइन ऑफ एक्टिविटी, नेचर एंड साइज चेंज हो गया। व्हाट इज द थर्ड वन? लीगल एंड स्टैट्यूटरी रिक्वायरमेंट। फोर्थ वन, व्हेन ऑडिटर्स रिपोर्टिंग रिक्वायरमेंट्स चेंज्ड। रिपोर्टिंग requirements changed when the auditors reporting requirement change। अभी यहां पे सुनो, मैं तुम्हें 2 चीजें बताता हूं। एक होती है जनरल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स, एक होती है स्पेशल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट। कोई डिफरेंस बताएगा इसमें? जनरल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स आर दोज फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट which can be used by anyone, which can be used by what? Anyone। Special purpose financial statements are those financial statements which the client prepares for a particular section of people। For whom? Particular। जैसे say for example, सेबी ने मेरे क्लाइंट के ऊपर ऑर्डर पास किया कि we want your financial statement in this format, in this format, in normal format or in this format। So that is a which statement it is? Special purpose, because it is only and only going to be used by whom? सेबी। अब तो मुझे ये बताओ, when my client is preparing general purpose financial statement or when my client is preparing special purpose financial statement, my role, objective, scope and what do you say, responsibilities will remain same or it will differ। क्योंकि अगर normal financial statement है, I'll follow schedule 3 requirements। which requirement? और T shape में और vertical में? vertical। but now SEBI is asking us to make the financial statement in a proper format। Now tell me, my reporting responsibility remains same or it change? और चलो एक और एग्जांपल बताता हूं। लास्ट ईयर मेरा क्लाइंट था पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म, ये इजी रहेगा तुम्हें। लास्ट ईयर माय क्लाइंट वाज अ व्हिच फॉर्म? दिस ईयर ही कन्वर्टेड इट इनटू अ व्हाट? कंपनी। तो लास्ट ईयर मैं किसको रिपोर्ट कर रहा था? पार्टनर्स को। लास्ट ईयर मैं किसको रिपोर्ट कर रहा था? पार्टनर। लेकिन इस साल मेरे को पार्टनर्स को रिपोर्ट करना है या यूजर्स को? तो मेरा रिपोर्टिंग रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या हुआ? चेंज। किसका? ऑडिटर का। तो देयरफॉर डू आई हैव टू टेल दिस टू क्लाइंट और नॉट? नाउ आई विल नॉट रिपोर्ट टू यू, आई विल रिपोर्ट टू यू होम? यूजर्स। क्योंकि लास्ट ईयर यू आर अ व्हिच फर्म? आई वाज रिपोर्टिंग टू यू, बट दिस ईयर यू आर अ फर्म और कंपनी, तो माय रिपोर्टिंग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी गॉट चेंज्ड। तो टेल मी द 4 रीजंस नाउ। Considerable change in management, line of activity, nature and size, legal or statutory requirements of the company and reporting requirement। Next one, point number 5, past experience with the client। What is the next one? इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? कोई बताएगा? What do you mean by past experience with the client? Remember one thing, the biggest teacher of your life is what? Your past। अगर last year when I sent the audit engagement letter, my client did not understand some of the points in my letter, we had a fight on that, we had a what? Do I want to repeat that fight again in this year or should I clarify them? So do I have to send this letter again? Yes। Because of which reason? Past experience with the client। अगर past experience में everything well and good, do I have to send this letter? No need, no need। But if there is a problematic areas between me and employee, me and client, then it is required to be sent। So what is the 5th reason? Can be past experience with the client। 6th reason, when ICAI brings amendments and pronouncements। अच्छा ये बताओ, who is our temple? ICAI। essays कौन इशू करता है? ICAI। ICAI ने 2018 में पता क्या किया? 2018 में आईसीए ने क्या किया? अपनी एक 700 सीरीज है, विच सीरीज? पूरी की पूरी सीरीज रिवाइज कर दी। कि मतलब अवर फॉर्मेट वाज डिफरेंट एंड आफ्टर 2018 अवर फॉर्मेट बिकेम व्हाट? डिफरेंट। मतलब 2018 से पहले वी वर रिपोर्टिंग इन अ डिफरेंट वे एंड नाउ वी आर रिपोर्टिंग इन अ डिफरेंट वे। इज इट बिकॉज ऑफ क्लाइंट? इज इट बिकॉज ऑफ मी? और इज इट बिकॉज ऑफ आईसीए? तो सपोज लास्ट ईयर 700 series was old one. This year ICAI has revised the 700 series. So this year when I'll report as per 700 series, should I follow the old standards or the new standards? Because of whom? Do I have to send this letter again to my client? तो मेरे को क्लाइंट को बताना पड़ेगा कि भैया ये चेंज हो गया। अच्छा ये बताओ, चलो मैं एक और क्वेश्चन पूछता हूं। मैंने तुम्हें क्वेश्चन बताया 610 याद है? SA 610 using the work of which auditor? Internal audit. 610 में क्या लिखा हुआ था कि if the external auditor wants to use a which auditor? Internal. तो these are the 7 points to be taken care of. How many points? एक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं, बट आईसीए ने इसे रिवाइज कर दिया. अब आईसीए ने लिख दिया 12 पॉइंट्स टू बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. तो 7 पॉइंट्स चेंज इनटू व्हाट? 12 पॉइंट. तो लास्ट ईयर द 5 पॉइंट्स विच द आईसीए डिड नॉट इंट्रोड्यूस लास्ट ईयर, आई वाज नॉट चेकिंग दैट while using the work of which auditor? Internal. But do you have to check more now? Now my 7 points है responsibility और 12 points है responsibility. लेकिन ये change किसने किया? I say. तो do I have to tell it to my client or not? कि भाई मेरी reporting responsibilities ICA has what? Changed. So this is the reason ICA, if someone sometimes brings amendments and pronouncements, you have to make sure that you have to say, if it is affecting your audit, you have to send this in your letter again. And point number 7, when there is specific change in terms and conditions of engagement. अच्छा बताओ, last year 12 branches of PVR cinemas I was doing, तो I was charging 20 lakh rupees audit fees. कितना चार्ज कर रहा था? This year they opened 30 more, तो 12 plus 30 कितना हो गया? 42. Will I charge the same audit fees? Or my scope increased? So because of what? Because of specific change in what? Terms and conditions. तो भाई मेरे को फीस चेंज हो गई है, तो I have to make sure that कि I should convey it to my client कि don't expect me to do your 42 audits in 20 lakhs anymore. I will do your audits in more amount of money. Obviously you have to change it. सर यहाँ पे भी अगर मेरे को एक बैच मिलेगा तो मेरे को X amount दे रहे हैं, and if they will tell me to take the second batch also within that X amount, will I take? तो डबल करना पड़ेगा ना भाई, सीधी सी बात है. नथिंग इज फॉर व्हाट? फ्री. तो दिस इज व्हाट द लास्ट पॉइंट, व्हेन देयर इज अ स्पेसिफिक चेंज इन टर्म्स ऑफ एंगेजमेंट. ये कीवर्ड्स है जो मैंने अंडरलाइन करे ना, व्हिच आई से वुड लाइक टू सी इन योर आंसर. अब तुम मुझे बताओ, अगर एक क्वेश्चन 4 मार्क का आता है, इज योर आंसर रेडी फॉर 4 मार्क्स? अब बताओ क्वेश्चन कैसे आएगा? इज ऑडिट एंगेजमेंट लेटर अ रेकरिंग लेटर? व्हाट इज योर आंसर? जनरली नो, इट इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू बी सेंट every year by the auditor, but under the following circumstances it becomes a which letter? Recurring letter. Tell me the 7 points without looking now. Considerable change in the management. Second one, change in the line of activity, nature and size of whose business? Client's business. Change in what? Legal and statutory laws of my client. Change in my reporting responsibility, past experience with the client. फिर ICA amendments and pronouncement. 7th one, specific change in the terms and crystal clear? Yes. And now let's wind up this standard. And last में what they may ask you in the examination, what if management wants or demands changes in terms and conditions of engagement? ये पूरी स्टोरी ध्यान से सुनना. दिस इज अ वेरी लॉजिकल पॉइंट वेर यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हाई 210 इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन द ऑडिटर्स लाइफ. एक्चुअली ऑल द 35 स्टैंडर्ड्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यू हैव ओनली 26 इन योर पोर्शन. स्टैंडर्ड तो ऐसा है सर, तुम अपने आप को कंपेयर करोगे विद द अदर स्टूडेंट्स. तुम अदर स्टूडेंट्स को स्टैंडर्ड का नंबर पूछ के देखना, दे विल नॉट बी एबल टू टेल यू. तुम अदर स्टूडेंट्स को स्टैंडर्ड का कंटेंट पूछ के देखना, दे विल नॉट बी एबल टू टेल यू द आंसर. द रीजन बीइंग वेरी सिंपल, 70% of the auditing population of the students leave the standards in choice. But let me tell you one thing, after getting qualified, which is the most important thing which helps you in establishing standard. मैंने क्या बोला, यहां पे कट करे तो क्या आना? स्टैंडर्ड. सर स्टैंडर्ड्स तो तुम्हारी बैकबोन है. अगर तुम्हें स्टैंडर्ड्स का टेस्ट लग गया ना, वंस यू विल टेस्ट द स्टैंडर्ड ना, यू विल नेवर बी एबल टू फॉरगेट द स्टैंडर्ड नंबर एंड स्टैंडर्ड नेम इन योर थ्रू आउट योर लाइफ. अभी मेरे को बुक खोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, एवरीथिंग इज इनसाइड. बहुत सारे बच्चे क्वेश्चन पूछे, सर आप इतना सारा थ्योरी, लॉ का, एसएम का, ऑडिटिंग का, स्टैंडर्ड नंबर, कंटेंट, पूरा का पूरा स्टैंडर्ड, आईसीए का मटेरियल अंदर कैसे फिट किया? तो मैंने उनको 2 ही जवाब दिया. मैंने कहा देखो, लाइफ में ह्यूमन बीइंग के पास 2 मेमोरीज होती है. एक होती है कैशे मेमोरी, एक होती है हार्ड डिस्क। तो कैशे मेमोरी स्टूडेंट यूजेस। व्हाट डू मीन बाय कैशे मेमोरी? परमानेंट और टेम्परेरी। घर पे जाते फ्लश आउट हो जाता सब कुछ। जैसे तुमने नेटफ्लिक्स ओपन किया, Amazon प्राइम ओपन किया, जैसे इंस्टाग्राम ओपन दिया, वो जो लास्ट 2 आवर्स में व्हाट यू हैव स्टडीड, एवरीथिंग विल बी व्हाट फ्लश्ड आउट। तुम्हें रील्स में इंटरेस्ट आना शुरू होगा कि विच इज द ट्रेंडिंग रील्स एंड व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन अराउंड इज, उसे बोलते हैं कैशे मेमोरी। बट आई ऑलवेज मेक द यूज ऑफ माई हार्ड डिस्क। कभी भी याद रखना, किसी भी थियरी सब्जेक्ट को, इफ यू वांट टू लर्न द थियरी सब्जेक्ट एंड इफ यू वांट टू बी अ फैकल्टी इन फ्यूचर, अगर आपको भी पढ़ाना है थियरी सब्जेक्ट में, तो एक फ्री की एडवाइस देता हूं, ट्राई टू डू वन थिंग, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द इंटेंशन ऑफ द लॉ मेकर बिहाइंड दैट लॉ, कि why the lawmaker has created this law, what is the reason. The moment you will find your answer called why, then you will start falling in love with the subject. Are you getting the point or not? 90% स्टूडेंट को अगर अपन चॉइस पूछे ना, तो दे ऑलवेज से टैक्स इज द फेवरेट और कॉस्टिंग और अकाउंट, जो प्रैक्टिकल सब्जेक्ट्स होते हैं. These subjects are the most ignorable. But tell me one thing, do you need to get 40 in these, 50 to clear the group? Then who the hell are you to make a choice? तुम चॉइस कर ही नहीं सकते. कभी भी याद रखना, चॉइसेस यू मेक आफ्टर गेटिंग क्वालिफाइड, नॉट ड्यूरिंग द क्वालिफिकेशन. After getting qualified, you make a choice. You want to set up your practice in National Company Law Authority, means NCLT में, or you want to set up your practice in Company Affairs ROC में. You want to be a practitioner in IDT or DT, or you want to become a practitioner in accounting. ये तुम्हारी choice है. After getting qualified, before getting qualified, all the 8 subjects में तुम्हें 40 each चाहिए और 50 to clear the what group. You are nobody to make a choice. तो तुम्हारा कोई फेवरेट नहीं होना चाहिए सब्जेक्ट और कोई लीस्ट फेवरेट नहीं होना चाहिए. दिस इज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम इन द स्टूडेंट लाइफ, एंड आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट आई हैव नॉट फेस्ड इट. मैं भी फेस करता था. आई यूज्ड टू हेट दिस सब्जेक्ट द मोस्ट. अरे थियरी कौन पढ़े. मैंने अपने सीए फाइनल में स्टैंडर्ड छोड़ के गया था, अपने सीए फाइनल में, क्योंकि मेरे को उस टाइम पे सबसे बोरिंग चीज जो लगती थी वो क्या लगती थी, स्टैंडर्ड. फिर गॉड का मतलब वो देखो कि व्हाट इज द सर्कल. आई स्टार्टेड माई करियर इन द थियरी सब्जेक्ट. मैंने पहले लॉ पढ़ाना शुरू करा, फिर लॉ के बाद मैं इकोनॉमिक्स में आया, इकोनॉमिक्स में आया, आई केम इनटू व्हाट, ऑडिटिंग. अब अभी ऑडिटिंग और लॉ में ऑलमोस्ट आई हैव क्रॉस 50-50 बैचेस ईच. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट. इतने नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ा दिया. अभी क्या है कि नाइट को कभी भी तुम कुछ भी बोल लो, सर ये स्टैंडर्ड, ये सेक्शन, ये बता दो सर क्या है, ऑटोमेटिकली आ जाता है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो सब कुछ जाके कहां फिट हो गया सर, हार्ड डिस्क में. तो एक ही रीजन है, इफ यू रियली वांट टू मेक द थिंग्स परमानेंट इन योर हेड और ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, योर 50% ऑफ द इंटरव्यू इज बेस्ड अपॉन ऑडिटिंग सब्जेक्ट. जब क्वालिफाई होते ना, सबसे ज्यादा तुम्हें INDAS के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं इंटरव्यू में, एंड द सेकंड क्वेश्चन कम्स ऑन स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग. वो तुम्हें पूछते हैं ऐसा करके कि मान लो यू हैव बीन अपॉइंटेड एज एन ऑडिटर ऑफ वन कंपनी. You sent an audit engagement letter. What if the management is demanding the change in terms and condition? तो क्या करोगे? They practically ask you. So that's why I try my level best to pour in the practical exposure also in the topic, so that I can make it permanent in your head. अभी मैं तुम्हें जब इसका लॉजिक बताऊंगा ना, you will understand that this is the most important part of the whole standard. वैसे the whole standard is important, but this is most important. इसका मीनिंग पढ़ो. First read the heading. What if the management wants or demands the changes in what? Terms and conditions of what? Engagement. अब मैनेजमेंट ने मेरे को कॉल किया. मैनेजमेंट ने कॉल किया, रोहित सर आपने ये लेटर के ऊपर लिखा हुआ है कि मॉर्निंग 10 to 2 यू विल कम ऑन डेली बेसिस फॉर द नेक्स्ट 20 days. सर 10 to 2 is our peak business working hours. What they told me? 10 to 2 is our what? Peak hours. ये हमारा सबसे ज्यादा बिजनेस यही आवर्स में होता है. If you will come and we will be unable to give you the assistance what you are looking for, then at that point of time you will also not be comfortable, we will also be not comfortable. So please, we would like to make a request to you कि can you change it from 2 to 6 instead of 10 to 2. अब तुम मुझे बताओ, is it a reasonable request? Justified or unjustified? Acceptable or non acceptable? भाई मैं किसी का धंधा जाके क्यों खराब करूं? अगर मेरे पीक बिजनेस वर्किंग आवर में कोई आके मेरे को पोक करेगा तो आई विल ऑल्सो गेट एंग्री. एंड ऑडिटिंग इज अ वेरी काम माइंड प्रोसेस. तुम्हें बहुत काम माइंड रखना पड़ता है. तो यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट कि व्हेन द अदर पर्सन इज जेन्युइनली मेकिंग अ रिक्वेस्ट टू यू, समटाइम्स इट इज एक्सेप्टेबल, समटाइम्स इट इज नॉट. तो अपन इसको दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करेंगे. व्हाट आर द टू पार्ट्स वी विल डिसाइड. समटाइम्स द चेंजेस आर व्हाट acceptable, and sometimes what, sometimes not acceptable. इसका मतलब you already got an idea कि what we are going to learn in this particular topic. तो sometimes it is acceptable, sometimes it is not acceptable. अच्छा ये बताओ, when the change in terms and conditions will be acceptable to you? When the asked change is fair, is justified, is unreasonable or reasonable? Reasonable, and most importantly is not affecting your IOI. What is IOI? Integrity. By changing the time of your audit, are they telling you to change your scope of audit? No, they are simply requesting you shift कर दो भाई, 10 to 2 की जगह कब आओ, 2 to 6. तो are they telling you to become dishonest, non-sincere, non-straightforward, partial, biased, or they are not affecting your eye here? तो in these kind of changes में it is what acceptable. तो law क्या बोलता है, SA 210 क्या बोलता है, continue the engagement. What is SA 210 says? Continue the engagement. तो इसको एग्जाम में कैसे लिख के आएंगे कि what if the management demands a change in terms and conditions? तो sometimes it is acceptable. Under that क्या लिखेंगे, the asked change will be acceptable only when the such asked change is what, fair, justified, reasonable, and does not affect the auditor's integrity, objectivity, and independence. Therefore, auditor shall take the appointment letter and continue the engagement. ऐसा लिख के आएंगे. But I am making you write in the chart, but you don't have to write like that in the examination. Main keywords के ऊपर focus करना. मेरे को ये बताओ, when it is not acceptable, ये सारी चीजों को वाइस वर्सा लिख दो उधर. When the asked changes are what, are fair or not fair, unfair, next one, unjustified, next one, unreasonable, and affecting your what, IOI. तो नाउ इसके आगे नेक्स्ट अपन एक्सटेंशन लगाएंगे. 2 cases. Again, how many cases? 2 cases. क्वेश्चन इज व्हेन डिड दे आस्क दैट चेंज. अच्छा ये बताओ, तुम्हें क्लाइंट ने कॉल किया आफ्टर हाफ एन आवर. अगेन फर्स्ट कॉल्ड, ही आस्क्ड यू टू चेंज द टाइमिंग, यू एक्सेप्टेड इट. आफ्टर हाफ एन आवर ही सेड दैट, रोहित, आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू योर फर्दर लेटर, आई केम टू नो दैट यू आर डिमांडिंग अ कैश रजिस्टर. सॉरी रोहित, वी कांट गिव यू व्हाट, कैश रजिस्टर, बिकॉज कैश रजिस्टर इज ऑलवेज मेंटेन्ड बाय आवर बॉस, एंड बॉस का हमारा मैनेजमेंट पॉलिसी है कि स्ट्रिक्टली नो वन अदर देन द बॉस is going to touch the which register. मैंने कहा तुम्हें मालूम तुम किससे बात कर रहे हो? मैंने कहा ऑडिटर से. मैंने कहा मेरा स्कोप कहां पे लिखा है, एक्ट के अंदर. तो डोंट टेल मी व्हाट आई कैन डू, व्हाट नहीं 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 रोहित, वी कांट गिव यू दिस. तो पूरा आर्ग्यू हो रहा. तो मैंने कहा अच्छा एक काम करो, अब यहां पे वी हैव टू टेस्ट द 2 situations. हाउ मेनी सिचुएशन? व्हेन दे आस्क सच चेंज, मतलब उन्होंने ये चेंज पूछा कब. 2 सिचुएशन, बिफोर एक्सेप्टिंग द ऑडिट, एंड व्हाट इज द सेकंड वन, ऑब्वियसली आफ्टर एक्सेप्टिंग द ऑडिट. अच्छा तो मुझे बताओ विच वन इज मोर डिफिकल्ट एरिया. अगर बिफोर एक्सेप्टिंग अपने पास चॉइस है, हम लोग छोड़ के जा सकते, लेकिन आफ्टर एक्सेप्टिंग में लॉ अलाउज है, लॉ डज नॉट अलाउ. अब यहां पे क्वेश्चन मार्क आता है कि व्हेन डिड दे आस्क दैट चेंज, क्योंकि क्या होता है समटाइम्स मैनेजमेंट शो यू देयर ट्रू कलर्स व्हेन आफ्टर एक्सेप्टेंस. आर यू, बिकॉज दे आल्सो नो दैट यू आर अलाउड टू लीव और नॉट अलाउड टू लीव. तो इफ दे आस्क मी बिफोर एक्सेप्टिंग द ऑडिट, तो मैं क्या करूंगा, रेस द इशू विद TCWG. कौन है TCWG? दोस्त चार्ज विद गवर्नमेंट. तो ऐसे 210 क्या बोलता है, अगर उन्होंने अनएक्सेप्टेबल चेंज पूछा तो डायरेक्टली डिसीजन मतलब लीव करने का. फर्स्ट रेज द इशू विद होम, TC. टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट के पास जाओ, सर आपकी जो लोअर लेवल मैनेजमेंट है ना, मैंने उनको लेटर भेजा एंड दे आर टेलिंग मी दैट कि दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू शो मी विच रजिस्टर, कैश रजिस्टर. तो कैन यू प्लीज डू सम रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ दिस प्रॉब्लम और नॉट? तो टीसीडब्ल्यूजी की दो रिप्लाई आएंगे, यस वी विल रेक्टिफाई, नो सॉरी वी कांट रेक्टिफाई। अब अगर उन्होंने रेक्टिफाई कर दिया सिचुएशन कि यस सर वी विल शो यू द कैश रजिस्टर, अब क्या करेंगे? व्हाट इज योर आंसर? एक्सेप्ट द अपॉइंटमेंट एंड कंटिन्यू व्हाट? एंगेजमेंट। क्लियर है? अब समझ में आ रहा पूरा चार्ट? एंड व्हाट इज ऑन द अदर साइड? सर सॉरी ये हमारी पॉलिसी है, आई एम द ओनली वन हु कीप्स द रजिस्टर, सॉरी आई कांट शो यू। अब क्या करेंगे? बेटर टू विड्रॉ, बेटर टू विड्रॉ फ्रॉम एंगेजमेंट। क्रिस्टल क्लियर एवरीवन? आगे ना, तो ये तो हो गया अपने को बिफोर एक्सेप्टेंस। अब प्रॉब्लम कहां पे आएगी? आफ्टर एक्सेप्ट। आफ्टर एक्सेप्टेंस के केस में यू आर अलाउड और नॉट अलाउड? नॉट अलाउड टू विड्रॉ। तो समटाइम्स, यहां पे क्या लिखेंगे? समटाइम्स लॉ prohibits auditor to resign or leave the engagement in between। अब बताओ अब क्या करें? अब तो मेरे पास कोई चॉइस ही नहीं है, अब तो मैं फंस गया, लेकिन चॉइस है, अपन कौन सी रिपोर्ट इश्यू करेंगे? अब तो मुझे यहां पे केस क्या हो रहा है, जल्दी से सोच के बताओ, यहां पे केस क्या था? कैश रजिस्टर अवेलेबल और नॉट अवेलेबल। तो मैं क्या करूंगा? अच्छा ये बताओ, दिस इज राइट थिंग और रॉन्ग थिंग? तो इट मींस अनमॉडिफाइड इज एन ऑप्शन और नॉट एन ऑप्शन? अनमॉडिफाइड रिपोर्ट इज नॉट एन ऑप्शन, क्लीन ओपिनियन इज एन ऑप्शन और नॉट एन ऑप्शन? वो तो दे ही नहीं। बची अपनी तीन कौन सी? क्वालिफाइड, एडवर्स, डिस्क्लेमर। अब मेरे को ये बताओ, इज इट नियर टू क्लीन? ये तो बहुत बड़ा इशू है, तो इसका मतलब क्वालिफाइड भी नहीं है। बची कितनी? दो। कौन सी? अब यहां पे डिसएग्रीमेंट हो रहा है, यहां पे क्या फाइट हो रही है ऑफ एनी फ्रॉड्स एंड एरर, और इट इज अ क्लियर कट केस ऑफ नॉन अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ एविडेंस। अब क्या करेंगे? डिस्क्लेमर। लेकिन मैं तुम्हें एक सजेशन देता हूं, सुनो, कभी भी याद रखना, टिल द टाइम वी डू नॉट डू दिस सीरीज, विच सीरीज? You should not write the word clean, qualified, adverse, disclaimer। सर ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि जब तक अपन 700 सीरीज पढ़ते नहीं ना, अपने को 100% कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है कि whether we should give the word clean, qualified, adverse और disclaimer। तो सर क्या लिखेंगे आंसर में? यहां पे लिखेंगे auditor shall modify his opinion। auditor shall what? अब तो मुझे ये बताओ, मैंने modify word लिख के क्या किया? मैंने तीन चीजों को कवर कर दिया एक ही वर्ड में। व्हाट आर द थ्री थिंग्स आई कवर्ड? क्वालिफाइड, एडवर्स, लेट द एग्जामिनर डू द हार्ड वर्क, कि व्हाट यू वांटेड टू से। अब यहां पे एग्जामिनर पुट यू इनटू द गेसिंग सिचुएशन और यू पुट द एग्जामिनर इनटू गेसिंग। मैंने बोल दिया, मैंने कहा क्या लिखा? ऑडिटर शैल मॉडिफाई हिज ओपिनियन। अब यहां पे एक चीज और मेंशन करेंगे, एज पर SA 705 revised। What is the standard number you will quote? 705 standard number है, modification in the opinion of independent auditors report। Are you getting the point? तो how to modify, which standard teaches you? 705। तो अपन 705 को यहां पे मेंशन कर देंगे। Don't write, again I am writing, telling you till the time you are not entering into final, don't use the word adverse, qualified, disclaimer। जब तक अपन 705 नहीं कर लेते ना, तब तक तो मत करना यूज। उसके बाद आई विल गिव यू हंड्रेड्स ऑफ एग्जांपल एंड आई विल मेक यू प्रैक्टिस 100 टाइम्स कि व्हेन टू क्वालिफाई, व्हेन टू एडवर्स, व्हेन टू डिल। बट मेरे को ये बताओ, क्लीन का ऑप्शन है या नहीं है? ये तो साफ साफ बोल रहे कि मेरे को क्या नहीं देंगे? कैश रजिस्टर। तो भैया क्लीन तो दूंगा ही नहीं मैं, तो बचा क्या? 3। और 3 को अपन स्पेसिफिकली, इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग स्पेसिफिकली, वी शुड बेटर गो एंड जनरलाइज द वर्ड। व्हाट इज द वर्ड? मॉडिफाई। अब तो मुझे ये बताओ, पूरा चार्ट समझ में आया? चलो अपना बुक्स क्लोज करो। अब मेरे को बताओ हुआ क्या लास्ट पॉइंट में? मैनेजमेंट डिमांडेड द चेंजेस इन टर्म्स एंड समटाइम्स acceptable, sometimes when acceptable it is fair, reasonable, justified, and most importantly it is not affecting my IOI। मेरी IOI को अफेक्ट नहीं कर रहा था, तो मैंने क्या करा? एक्सेप्टेबल। तो आई विल टेक द अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर एंड कंटिन्यू व्हाट एंगेजमेंट. बट व्हेन इट इज अनएक्सेप्टेबल, वाइस वर्सा, अनफेयर, अनजस्टिफाइड, अनरीजनेबल एंड इफेक्टिंग माई आईओ. फिर दो सिचुएशन. व्हेन डिड दे आस्क दिस चेंज? बिफोर एक्सेप्टेंस, आफ्टर. अगर बिफोर एक्सेप्टेंस है, थैंक गॉड, आई कैन रेज द इश्यू टू हुम. मैंने टीसीडब्ल्यूजी को बोला, मैंने कहा सर ऐसा है, तुम्हारी जो लोअर लेवल मैनेजमेंट है मेरे को कैश रजिस्टर नहीं दे रहे. तो टीसीडब्ल्यूजी के दो रिप्लाई आएंगे, आइदर यस, इफ टीसीडब्ल्यूजी अग्रीज टू रेक्टिफाई द सिचुएशन, आई विल एक्सेप्ट द अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर एंड कंटिन्यू द एंगेजमेंट. इफ दे डू नॉट, इट्स बेटर टू विड्रॉ. देखो सर, वही बोल रहा हूं ना, बार बार वही बात आती है, प्रिवेंशन इज बेटर देन. बेटर है कि ऐसा एंगेजमेंट में बाद में अटकने से पहले इट्स बेटर टू लीव. बट व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम व्हेन दे आस्क यू दिस आफ्टर एक्सेप्टेंस? आफ्टर एक्सेप्टेंस में प्रॉब्लम इज यू कैन लीव और यू कांट लीव. देखो, इट इज नॉट ऑलवेज 100% करेक्ट कि यू कांट लीव. जब सिचुएशन, वो बोलते हैं ना, व्हेन द वाटर क्रॉसेस योर लेवल, योर सैचुरेशन पॉइंट, then in that case you have to take the decision. I am saying that ki think logically, you have to see that ki is the management allowing you and the law is allowing you to leave or not. If the law does not allow you to leave in between, then still you have a tool in your hand. Which opinion? Modified opinion. या तो मैं adverse कर दूंगा, qualified कर दूंगा, या disclaimer, so that my users at least will come to know कि this company has not shown me the which register cash is. मैं पूरा reason लिखूंगा कि मैंने ऐसा पूछा था ये डेट को, दे रिप्लाइड मी ऑन दिस डेट एंड दिस इज द रीजन आई एम डिस्क्लेमिंग माय ओपिनियन. अब बताओ क्या होगा? कंपनी का रेपुटेशन विल बी गोइंग अप और विल बी गोइंग डाउन. ऑल द यूजर्स, लेंडर्स, सप्लायर्स विल गेट अफेक्टेड और नॉट. डू यू वांट एज अ कंपनी टू हैपन विद यू? इसलिए कंपनी का सर 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 प्लीज सर प्लीज. तो अपना सिग्नेचर सबसे पावरफुल है भाई, ठीक है ना. तो अपने को छोटा मोटा चिल्लर इंसान नहीं समझना. अपना सिग्नेचर, मैं एक साइन करूंगा ना एडवर्स लिख के, पूरी की पूरी कंपनी की काया पलट हो जाएगी. द टोटल रेपुटेशन एंड द मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन एंड द शेयर प्राइस, एवरीथिंग विल फॉल डाउन. ब्रांड इमेज डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाएगी. तो दैट इज द रीजन वी हैव बीन गिवन दिस पावर बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कि यू आर अ गेजेटेड ऑफिसर, यू आर अ स्टैट्यूटरी ऑफिसर, मेक श्योर दैट यू आर मेकिंग द एथिकल यूज ऑफ योर पावर्स. क्लियर एवरीवन? So with that, our which standard is over? essay. तो हमने आज पढ़ा क्या? essay 210 में क्या पढ़ा कि सर इनिशियल ऑडिट एंगेजमेंट टर्म, अपॉइंटमेंट से पहले भी एक सिनेरियो होता है, उसे हम लोग बोलते हैं प्रीलिमिनरी एंगेजमेंट एक्टिविटी. तो ये स्टैंडर्ड ने हमें सब कुछ बताया कि अपॉइंटमेंट से पहले क्या क्या होता है. तो पहले मेरे को ये होता, मीनिंग पढ़ा हमने, फिर हमने क्या पढ़ा? नंबर ऑफ कॉपीज, फिर हमने क्या पढ़ा? पर्पस. पर्पस में 2, इंफॉर्मेटिव. Informative word come from information. Conformative came from confirmation. Informative में further 2. Must information में, must में 7, में 3. उसके नीचे अपन कहां गए? Recurring में. Is this letter recurring in nature? Generally no. But under the following circumstances, this letter becomes what? Recurring. फिर हमने last but not the least, most important, what if management calls you and asks you to change your terms and. तो अपनी दो सिचुएशन है, समटाइम्स एक्सेप्टेबल. एक्सेप्टेबल है तो रेज, डू द कंटिन्यू द एंगेजमेंट एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, रीजंस लिखो. एंड नॉन एक्सेप्टेबल है तो यू हैव टू जज बिफोर एक्सेप्टिंग और आफ्टर एक्सेप्टिंग. बिफोर एक्सेप्टिंग हुआ तो यू कैन विड्रॉ इफ दे आर स्टिल नॉट लिसनिंग टू यू, एंड आफ्टर एक्सेप्टिंग में यू कैन मॉडिफाई. बट स्टैंडर्ड नंबर क्या कोट करेंगे अपन? अच्छा, पता क्या होता है, इससे अपन एग्जामिनर को इंप्रेस कर रहे हैं कि भैया मेरे को सिर्फ 210 नहीं आता, मेरे को 705 भी पता है. अब ये बताओ, अगर नॉर्मल स्टूडेंट ये कोट नहीं करेगा और तुम लोग कोट करोगे तो हु विल बी हैविंग द कॉम्पिटिटिव एज? यू. तो यहां पे याद रखना, ऑडिटिंग पेपर में सबसे बड़ा बाइफर्केशन यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, इट्स नॉट अ फाइट बिटवीन द रॉन्ग आंसर एंड राइट आंसर, इट्स अ फाइट बिटवीन द गुड आंसर एंड बेटर आंसर. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? द स्टूडेंट हु इज सिटिंग alongside you is also going to write the same answer what you are writing. But if you are quoting the standard number, section number and meaning properly and a proper presentation, he is also writing the same thing but in a unmanaged point of view. मतलब unmanaged way में. Neither he is quoting the section nor he is quoting the standard number. In that case what will happen? Answers are same but you will get the priority. तुम्हारे को मिलेंगे 5 में से 4 मार्क्स, उसको मिलेंगे 5 में से 2 मार्क्स. यहां पे आके अपनी कैलकुलेशन मिसकैलकुलेशन हो जाती है. हम लोग जब एग्जामिनेशन देके आते हैं ना एडवांस अकाउंट्स का, तो वी ऑल विल स्टार्ट थिंकिंग मैंने 90 मार्क्स का ऑडिटिंग का अटेम्प्ट किया, 90 मार्क्स में मे बी 5 में से 4 आ जाएंगे, 5 में से, बट जब व्हेन द रिजल्ट कम्स वी एक्चुअली सी दैट अवर 60 बिकेम व्हाट 38 और 40 45, और पूरा का पूरा क्या हुआ, पूरा प्लानिंग चला गया तेल लेने। तो उसको प्रिवेंट कैसे करना है? तो प्रिवेंट करने के लिए आई विल बी टेलिंग यू कि व्हाट आर द थिंग्स यू हैव टू रिमेंबर, कीवर्ड्स। क्योंकि आई वाज अ वैल्यूअर विद द एग्जामिनर फ्रॉम 2015 टू 2018, आई वेरीफाइड मोर देन 3600 आंसर शीट्स। और उस टाइम पे क्या होते, मेरे को आती थी साउथ स्टूडेंट्स के आंसर शीट्स। आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? एंड आंसर शीट में यू विल नेवर कम टू नो, यू विल आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू दैट यू विल नेवर कम टू नो अबाउट द नेम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट। वो पूरा का पूरा जो फर्स्ट पेपर होता है ना, ऐसा करके दे विल टेयर इट ऑफ, क्योंकि यू मे गेट सेंटिमेंटल इफ द स्टूडेंट्स नेम इज सोनू ग्रोवर, तो माई नेम इज व्हाट, तो ग्रोवर ग्रोवर मैच हो गया ना, तो मैं ज्यादा मार्क्स दे दूंगा। इसलिए ऐसे क्या करता है, वो पूरा का पूरा शीट को क्या कर देता है, रिमूव कर देता है। यू नेवर कम टू नो अबाउट द रिलीजन, कास्ट, ऑल दोस थिंग्स, तो सिंपली यू विल बी गेटिंग द आंसर शीट। तो उस टाइम पे व्हेन वी यूज्ड टू डू द मैनुअल मार्किंग एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, यू नो, हम लोग यही करते थे, वी यूज्ड टू कंपेयर द, कि मेरे पास 60 आंसर शीट्स है, 60 में से बेस्ट किसका है, उसको 75 दिए। फिर one revaluation takes place, then the second revaluation takes place, then the third revaluation takes place. After that, your result get posted on the website. तो मतलब 3 times your marks will be filtered. Sometimes those who have asked for the certified copies, anybody has asked for the certified copies so far in the foundation? You might have seen that sometimes your marks will be crossed and other marks will be written in the second column. वो होता है सेकंड फिल्ट्रेशन। फिर अगर थर्ड में फिल्टर हुआ है तो थर्ड, जैसे मैंने 70 दे दिए, आई थॉट दैट योर आंसर्स आर परफेक्ट, बट दे वोंट अलाउ। 70 को रिड्यूस करके करेंगे 54, मतलब तुम्हारा 60 से टांग खींच लिया उन्होंने कि एग्जामिशन तो नहीं है भैया। आयु कहने फिर 54 को रिड्यूस करके 38 पे ले आए, और वो क्या हो जाता है, फेल। तो आईसीए में प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट विद द आईसीए, दैट इज द प्रोटोकॉल ऑफ आईसीए। क्योंकि इफ एवरी वन ऑफ यू विल बिकम अ चार्टेड अकाउंटेंट, तो अपन गली नुक्कड़ पे दिखेंगे, और ये आम वाला का ठेला लगा रहता ना, मंडी लगी रहती, अपन ऑडिट करवा लो, ऐसा करके लेके चलेंगे, ऑडिट करवा लो, और सामने वाली लेडी आएगी, भैया मेरे हस्बैंड का 2 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है, टैक्स ऑडिट कर दो प्लीज। अम्मा 30,000, नो भैया नहीं नहीं। जैसे टोमेटो शॉप पे बार्गेनिंग होती है ना, नहीं भैया 5,000। मैंने कहा क्या अम्मा मजाक कर रहे, तो अम्मा विल से हु स्टार्टेड 30,000, लुक एट दैट फेलो, मैं उससे करवा लूंगी नहीं तो रोड पे ऐसा चार्टेड अकाउंटेंट्स विल बी देयर। फिर अपने भी चाय शॉप बंडी के जैसे होगा, मैडम ऑडिट स्ट्रिक्ट चाहिए, मतलब ना कड़क चाय चाहिए या मोर मिल्क, या ऑडिट स्ट्रिक्ट चाहिए या लीनियंट वाला चाहिए। तो ऐसा सिचुएशन यू वांट इन द मार्केट और यू डोंट वांट। तो इसीलिए बता रहा हूं कि आईसीए का फॉल्ट नहीं है। स्टॉप कर्सिंग द आईसीए कि व्हाई आईसीए इज नॉट गिविंग द मार्क्स। स्टार्ट इंप्रोवाइजिंग ऑन योरसेल्फ कि व्हाट यू आर डूइंग द मिस्टेक। ये कीवर्ड्स का गेम है, पूरा गेम किसका है, कीवर्ड्स का। दे वांट टू सी द वर्ड टीसीडब्ल्यूजी इंस्टेड ऑफ राइटिंग द वर्ड केएमपीस। टीसीडब्ल्यूजी शो करो एंड दे विल डेफिनेटली गिव यू द मार्क्स। इज इट क्लियर एवरीवन? अब तेरी इतना टाइम हो गया, अरे वाह, तुम लोग बोलना ना यारो। आई एम फीलिंग वेरी बैड दैट आई टुक 5 minutes of yours extra. चलो, थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन फॉर lending your patient ears. I'll borrow it again tomorrow, right? कल करेंगे अपन last topic of this chapter and then we'll quickly move ahead to our second chapter that is called planning, right? Bye everyone, take care.